And we're going to look at what is called the communication model, and more specifically, what are the eight components of communication. What is called the communication model. For you here, but the 8 components are sender, receiver, code, decode, channel, message, feedback, and lastly, interference. Into the scenario. Let's say we have 2 people. Let's say we have a boy here. I'll give him spiked hair. Have a girl here. We'll give her curly hair. Now we're not going to give them expression as far as their mouth, smile, frown right now, because communication is always happening. It's always happening. It's always good. So we're going to look at this model here. I'm not telling you that communication is starting right now. We're going to pick it up at a certain point. We're going to kind of cut in at a certain point. Look at each of these 8 components. So here's what we're going to do. Let's say that this girl and this guy, they're good friends. They are really good friends. They're not necessarily dating, but they're really good friends, really close. And she has just been to the hair salon. And she's got this haircut. She just messed it up. I mean, it was a bad move. And she's a little self-conscious about it. As sometimes girls, when you go to get your hair done, and there's a drastic change, is it true that sometimes you kind of wear your emotions on your sleeve for about a day or so, right? Because you're not sure. You're like, this is a good idea, but I'm not real sure. And you're looking for what from other people? Yeah, compliments, because you need affirmation, right? That I really did the right thing. So, she approaches him and says, and is going to ask a question. What question will she ask?
How does my hair look?
Exactly. How does my hair look? How do you like my new hairdo? This is where we're going to pick this up. So, all of a sudden, he needs to respond, right? So he becomes the sender. Now, those of you who have been in this situation realize this is a loaded question. There's a lot on the line here, right? I mean, a lot on the line. He is the sender. He has to think. He has to code a message. C-O-D-E. Code a message. So what? And he can't just say anything, right? What might he say to her that is still affirming? It's not rude, but it's truthful at the same time. What do you think? It's okay. It's a good one. What else?
I'm okay with it if you like it.
What's that?
I'm okay with it if you like it.
I'm okay with it if you like it. Probably the compliment she's hoping for, but still. Well, how long do you think he has to come up with a response?
Less than 5 seconds.
Less than 5 seconds? Let's think about that. Let's think 5 seconds is the limit. Ask me, how do you like my hair? Just say
How
it.
do you like my hair?
1, 2, 3, 4. Is that too long?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What's happened by now?
I don't like it.
I got slapped, right?
Yeah.
So 5 seconds is way too long. How long do I have to come up with a response?
It's a second.
It's instantly, right? But I can't just say anything. Because if I wanted to say what just came first thing in my mind with no filter, I'd say, oh, what'd you do? You really messed it up. But I have to code this, don't I? It has to happen very quickly. This is kind of, how do I say this tactfully? Again, how do I say this honestly and those types of things? So I code the message. And what I do is I send a message. We're face-to-face communication here. I'm sending a message across a channel. The channel here is face-to-face communication. In what ways do you send messages to your friends besides face-to-face? Okay, texting,
Email.
Facebook, email. Good. Those are some common ways. You might even call. Skype, good. What will be coming next? Those are other channels. Face-to-face communication is your best method of communication. What do you lose in texting and emailing and those kind of calling? Okay, emotion. What's that? Okay, the tone of voice.
Facial expressions.
Facial expression. Now, some of these things are there. Tone is there over the phone. If you're Skyping, well, Skype's a good example. But if you are, what was it? I moved over the phone. You still have tone. You still have a little bit of emotion. But you're losing something. What have you lost from face-to-face communication? Isn't it true that you can tell a lot about what somebody means when they speak to you by the way they look? Yeah. There are different numbers out there. Some people say as high as 60 to 90% of our communication is what? Nonverbal, exactly. If you watch the movie Hitch, he says this in there. 60 to 90%. It's nonverbal. That means the words we say only make up about 10 to up to maybe 40% of what we're communicating to whoever we're communicating with. So let's say he said, hey, it looks okay. And he thinks, those are horrible teeth, but hey, he says, hey, I've gotten away with this, right? So he sends this message over here, but before it even gets all the way out of his mouth, she's angry. She's upset. Maybe even a little tear here and there. Because she is, one of the steps here, one of the components here, she is the receiver, and she very, very quickly does what is called decoding. She decodes the message. This is where your misunderstanding can occur. Decoding. Your interpretation of what has been said or done. So he says, it's okay. But he kind of has this look, it's okay, on his face. So she's breaking down, she's mad. And so what she does, what do you think she does at this point from this list? We've already covered this one, these two. What is she going to do next?
Give some feedback.
Yeah, she gives feedback, right? She's coming back, you jerk. She's saying something, she slaps him. I knew you would hate it. And so before he can even adjust, he's wishing he could take it back. She's upset, and she's grimacing or growling at him and crying. And then so she's sending feedback to him. And so what is he doing? He's saying, "Wow." And so that's feedback back to her. It's this continual process of sending and receiving messages. Now, this happens all at the same time, doesn't it? No, not all at once, but it happens, it kind of coexists. Because it's not that she asks a question and then just kind of goes stone cold as he answers, and then she comes back alive and says, well, you jerk. And then he says something, right? It happens, it interacts with each other, right? It's always going. This one's happening while this one's happening, back and forth, back and forth. It's always going on. This process of sending and receiving, coding and decoding, simple happens in this cycle. But sometimes, something happens. And there's a breakdown due to different things, what is called interference. Interference. Interference can be anything that breaks down effective communication. So think about this with me. Maybe you can think about communication.